They say unto God, how terrible art thou in thy word. Say, through the greatness of thy power shall the enemies submit themselves. The enemies never submit just like that. No, there is a kind of power, there is a kind of energy that makes them to be able to come to a point where they can be able to submit themselves. If you go to the book of Psalms 110, the Bible speaking, he said 110 from 3, he said, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauty of holiness from the womb of the morning. Thou art the dew of thy youth. It means that the willingness of people is commanded by a kind of power. If you see the devil excel, check again. There was something that was put in place according to an operation of power for it to prevail. Anytime God prevailed over a man's life, a power was in view. Anytime the devil prevailed over a man's life, another kind of power is in view. Nothing happened just like that. Don't be deceived. The Bible says how God in the book of Acts 10:38, how God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Ghost and with power, who went about doing good and healing all that were oppressed of the devil. Why? For God was with him. Jesus Christ has willed to do the biddings of God since when he was small, but his willingness was sabotaged. Why? Because a kind of power was in view. But how God anointed him with the Holy Ghost and with power, and in the day when that level of power came, he cannot be able to stay without being willing to do good. Doing good was upon an enablement of a dimension of power. So what is the protocol? Remain with God, built up sufficiently well until when something land, the day that thing come, you don't need any introduction. It will begin to introduce itself. All of them have been with Jesus for so long. All of them were called Christians several times. But the only day it makes sense was the day they saw the demonstration of power. Your life will become a joke. Your life will become a mockery. Your life will become a thing people will laugh about until they begin to see an excellency of power. Let them take your name to Babalawo and they are expecting to die after 3 days. And after 3 days to become more stronger. In that one they will wonder what's going on here. This one is not a normal Christian. We know so many Christians that die anyhow, but this one cannot die anyhow. It means there is a power in view. When the will of man cannot prevail over your own will, it's because a power superimposed them. Do you know how many things the devil will? You think the devil was happy that you came here? The intention of the devil was, as you were coming, let your car crash. For when we were coming, the car will chatter, it hit another one. You see, the plan of the devil was not just hitting. His plan was to ensure that you crumble down. There are sometimes you are flying on air and suddenly you begin to see the kind of turbulence become so different. It is as if they mean the thing to you. No, there is a will the devil has. There is a will you have. There is the will of God. But which one will prevail is determined to which the power that is being superimposed. The Bible says that people shall be willing in the days of thy power. It is through the greatness of thy power that thy enemy will submit themselves. Nobody live a holy life just like that. A power influenced them to live a holy life. You are not serving God because you wish to. It's a lie. Something has come upon you. Something has superimposed you. And because it has superimposed you, it's beyond even your decision. And when you see a man that does not bow to God, you are trying to preach a sermon to him. What he needs is not sermon. He needs a power. Because when a power comes, he will bow by default. The Bible says, through the greatness of thy power will the enemies submit themselves. Enemies do not submit. Enemies fight to the end. But when they see power, they bow. Men rise upon the agency of power until God administer a kind of dimension of power to you. You will remain in Mina and you will live and die. Nobody will hear of you, although you are gifted and talented by God. Gifted people are wasted. Gift is not enough. You need power. Do you know how many gifted people are available? There are few powerful people. There is no babalawo that is powerful today that lack customer. In the daytime, in the nighttime, even church members, they are his customers. There is no poor babalawo. No one. You don't believe it. And now the babalawo is a millionaire. You don't know. When power comes, everything about your life change. But how many people are willing to remain within the protocol to incubate the dimensions of power? Because when we speak about power, power is directly proportional to prayer. You know, when I speak about power, if you are not willing to pray, forget about it. It will be too far from you. I'm not talking about 2 minute prayer, 3 minute prayer. I'm talking about pray and praying for so long. The Bible says, go and tarry. There was no time. He said, just tarry. Until. It means you are going to continue to pray. After 1 month, after 2 months, after 3 months, after 1 year, after 3 years, after 2 years, after 15 years, until power comes. And when power comes, you maintain it by saying prayer. Whatsoever thing you get by prayer, to require prayer to keep it. If you get the husband by prayer, to require prayer to keep him. If you get the wife by prayer, to require prayer to keep her. In fact, if you get the girlfriend by prayer, it will require prayer to keep her. Many of you get the person by sweet. Somebody will buy the person another sweet and the person will go. It's a battle of will, but that will is influenced by power. The Bible is speaking in the book of Acts chapter 2 that when the day of Pentecost was fully came and they were together in one accord, suddenly the Holy Ghost descended upon them like a cloven tongue of fire, and all of them began to pray in other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. Why do they need that one if they already know the Lord? It was because although they knew the Lord, they denied him. When he left, all of them went a fishing. Everybody backslid. Why? Because power was not in view. And because power is not in view, their will cannot serve the Lord. But do you realize that after power came, Peter preached the same thing he has been preaching? The Bible said 3,000 men were added to them. That means after power came and the preaching was done, 3,000 enemies were winning. I know we go for outreach, we buy them clothes, we buy them wrapper, we share biscuit, we share gari, we share beans. Then we say, the Jesus that give this thing, come to him. And after 2 weeks, the thing are finished and they remember the Jesus did not come for them again. They now look for one Babalao. But the Bible said Peter, after Peter was done talking, after power came, 3,000 people willingly joined themselves in one day. When was the last time we did an evangelism and 3,000 people joined? That means the number of people that joined are more than the people that were in the church, because they were not up to 3,000. But after one man spoke, 3,000 people heard and they decided to come and join. Your ministry will be different with power. Your ministry will be better with power. In fact, your life will be more better with power. No man rise until power is in view. Nobody knew the apostles. They were like men. When power came upon their life, the Bible said this man turned the whole city upside down. There is something that can land upon your head. Mina can never remain the same.